What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's me, Fitty Trent, and I'm joined by the one, the only AC, ladies and gentlemen. He is here to help me give some reactions and give some thoughts to the big night that we have tonight, because it's the NHL Awards, but more importantly, it is the expansion draft to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Originally, they were just going to do a show for the Golden Knights, and we're going to get to watch that, and that's what we're going to react to, but they said, screw it, let's put it with the NHL Awards, kill two birds with one stone. We weren't even going to do something to do with the awards, but now that they involved it all in one, now you got to suffer through 2 hours of us sitting there watching, enjoying some awards, and more importantly, seeing who Vegas picks up for their expansion draft. I believe that they're going to be spreading out throughout the 2 hours, so sit tight. I hope you guys are going to be looking forward to this, because I know I am. I'm very highly anticipating who Vegas is going to pick. AC, what are your thoughts so far? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? What are your thoughts?
I'm excited to see what the team's going to look like, but my only issue with this whole thing is the power that the Vegas Knights as a new team gets, because I just don't think when you look at the past expansion drafts and you look at their rosters, the league has so much more parity now that you shouldn't have to just give away your players for this amount of free. I think they should have pushed it up to about 10 to 11, 12 you could protect, and then do it that way, because I think with the parity in the league, and now guys are just, okay, I'm not going to protect this $5 million player. And there's some good players that teams are going to lose that they don't want to lose, that they're pretty much giving for free. The Vegas Knights, in turn, have made all these backdoor deals for first-round picks not to take players. It's just the power is too much in Vegas Knights' hands, where I like to call them the Vegas Knights too, more than the Golden Knights. That's just my opinion. It's kind of hard to say Vegas Golden Knights every time. So we're going to go, AC is going to be all about the Knights, not Golden Knights. But still, I'm excited to see. It's going to be a new team. The jerseys were unveiled yesterday. Maybe the awards, we're going to see some comedy a bit. Here's Crosby trying to do a little comedy bit right now. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining, but we'll get more into why I think that it's kind of not the best way to do things, just giving one team all the power in the world. Plus, they're going to pick up players where they're just going to trade right away. Like, why do you think, we'll get into it. Why do you think Vegas is taking Leipzig or something from Toronto? Because there's going to be some sort of deal going on there later for them to get one of their defensemen. They're probably going to trade a young player that they want that's not protected type thing. It's going to be interesting, though. It's great for hockey, pump it up as much as they can. But we'll see what the actual team turns out. And I think they're going to go a little more under the cap than most people expect.
No, that's a good point there, AC. I mean, I went through my expansion draft, and I said that Vegas was not going to have as much cap as some people. And Mitch went through it, and he gave them about $10 million. I think they're going to be caught up right in between there. A good, $5, $10 million probably to go with in free agency, because there are some good free agents out there. And on your comment about calling them the Knights, I think most people just call them the Knights, to be completely honest. They're going to drop the Golden within the next year or two, because it's just such a stupid, prolonged name.
For sure. It's exactly like, it's like the Mighty Ducks, right? And, and we'll talk about like the owner saying that they're going to win a cup in the first 6 years. A team hasn't won since 93. An expansion team since the 93 Mighty Ducks is the only team to win a cup. And that took them 14 years to do it that way, right? And like
3 Disney movies. So I mean, like, unless there's a Disney movie about the Vegas Knights, I mean, I don't
exactly. And I think it's going to be a good venue. Talking to some players, it's going to be the good thing about Vegas is you don't have to pay tax in the winter. It's nice. You can be sitting by the pool. There's a lot of benefits to going to Vegas. That's why a lot of teams, like, people give Arizona a bad rep, but a lot of players like playing in Arizona. You get the golf, the weather. You're not getting bombarded by fans all the time. Obviously, you want to win, but it's going to be interesting to see how things work out for the Vegas Knights next year.
No, for sure. I completely agree there, AC. For those people that are in the chat right now, because we have a lot of you in the chat, which is awesome, they're saying, please show the show. Unfortunately, we can't. We've done that before. We've gotten copyright strikes because of that, and the video has been forced to be taken down. So for this, it's just going to be our live reactions. If you want to watch it, like on TV, if you live in the States, I believe you can watch it on NBC Sports. If you live in Canada, you can watch it on Sportsnet. Or if not, go to Reddit, find a stream there, and then you can watch it with us and react as well and follow along in the comments. But unfortunately, we cannot show the show. So sorry if you guys are looking for the show. Move on, because we can't show it.
Well said. Well said. Before we do this, should we get into what we know as of now?
What we know as of now is I believe that there is a confirmed, like, at least 2 or 3, you hinted at it a little earlier, at least 2 or 3 teams that have said, we will give you draft picks if you don't pick these specific players. And I think those 2 or 3 teams are Columbus, the Islanders, and the Flames, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are the 3 teams that we have that are confirmed right now. I could be wrong about that, though.
Yeah, no, and the interesting with the Islanders is, I think Grabovski, I think at first the rumor was Kulemin, but I think that's changed too, that they're going to take Grabovski, which I think their contracts are roughly the same, if I'm not mistaken. I think Grabovski actually might be getting paid a bit more because he's still on that one contract he signed when he was that stud free agent. It didn't pan out, but yeah, that's one of the big things. And I hear there's going to be some compensation. Pittsburgh had to give up something for them to take Fleury, because they were scared that the free agent and the goaltending market in this expansion draft was so large that they were afraid that there could be a chance that they didn't take Fleury and get him off the books. But so I'm thinking Pittsburgh is going to give some compensation. We're actually not going to hear about any compensation until tomorrow morning is when trades kick in for the draft. And because there could be some movements where some of these players taken in the expansion draft will just be traded right away for the Vegas in, trying to get some of those younger players that they weren't allowed to get because they're only their first 2-3 years in the league.
It's a good point there, AC. We've moved on from the host, who Drew says the host is awful. And if you're talking about the host of the NHL Awards, we're not even really paying attention to that. If you're saying that the host here is awful, thanks, man. It means a lot. I mean, AC is going to carry us all the way through.
No, you are, man.
But we're looking at this draft board right now, and they actually have every single team on it right now, and they're talking about the expansion draft. So maybe this is a little tease. Maybe they're going to show us maybe a couple players, but I don't think they're just going to go throughout the entire list just already.
Yeah, no, and I know another thing we said with Columbus, it looks like they'll take Carlson. It's bizarre. That's another bizarre thing that they wanted to protect Savard, Carpasola, and I forgot who the other player was, but not Carlson, because I actually think Carlson has on the Vegas Knights is a very good, at least a third liner right now, but could become something a bit more. He's still somewhat young. And then obviously we're hearing on Florida they're going to take Marshall, or I never could pronounce his name. It's just too long, too many S's, U, L's, and T's. I have no idea. But the guy that had a good season at 26 this year, I think he scored 25 or 30 goals for Florida. I think they're going to take him. It's going to be interesting to see, because I think they're going to try to build more of a younger team than just getting all the big name guys. Obviously, I think they'll take some big name guys. Obviously, we heard Mathot, which he's $5 million. James Neal is $5 million, because they'll definitely have to get over $45 million. It just depends how high they get up to with their cap on their draft, because obviously they want a lot of value players, but you have, like we saw it in Phoenix, right? Phoenix, that's why they had Datsuk and Pronger on their books, because if they didn't have those guys, they wouldn't be even close to even the $45 million mark.
Very good points there, AC. They just teased us with the expansion draft, brought out the GMs and everything like that, and they're like, and now the Ted Lindsay Award goes to, it's like, come on. Like, honestly, if this is going to be how it is, it's just such bullshit, in my opinion. This is
I actually have to go early at 6:30, so I was hoping that all the players would be named, but I bet you like half the team's not going to be announced for the last like 25 minutes or whatever, right? Like,
no, for sure. And it's a sad thing, because everyone knows that once AC leaves, then all the bottom line viewers leave, and then it's just me caught by myself talking to myself, which is just a casual night for me. But I mean, I know you're all here to see AC.
Yeah, maybe. Here, let's see. I gotta find. I actually had a roster where there was things that were actually confirmed, so we can go through that. I'll try to find it here.
While AC is trying to find that, we are going to see the Ted Lindsay Award right now, and the nominations are for Brett Burns, Sidney Crosby, and Connor McDavid. So it's kind of like, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, all these awards were voted before the playoffs. So this is like most valuable player, but voted on by the players, when the other awards are writer-based. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Sidney Crosby's year, but they also were only a second seed in their division. Obviously, a great team. Everyone likes Crosby. It's obviously Crosby, if it was a full season with the playoffs, I would say Crosby. But there might be an upset. I think Burns potentially, just to the way he plays, his attitude. You've seen him in All-Star games, how he interacts with other players. It's going to be interesting. And also Connor McDavid. It could go either way. But I'd obviously, if there's playoffs, Crosby's the guy. But we'll see what the players feel during the regular season, who their MVP is.
Yeah, I'm very interested about this. I could definitely see it going to Crosby. I could definitely see it going to McDavid. Burns, for me, would be a very big shock, but it's just the kind of thing where I don't think the NHL respects him like the players respect him as much. I just think that he's a very good, hardworking player. He's a great personality. He's a great guy to have around the locker room. I think everyone loves him, but I think they're going to give it to more of a superstar.
Connor McDavid.
Or like a McDavid, and it was McDavid. There you go. So that's kind of a shocker that, you know, Sidney Crosby, he's kind of been like the shoo-in for that award many years in a row now. And now a young guy has finally bumped him off his pedestal in a way. And
well, and if it is the players, you know, McDavid hasn't been around long enough to piss other players in the league off, right? They see McDavid from afar. They haven't really played against him a lot, right? This is really his only full season. So that could, I think there's a little politics, obviously, with when it's a player vote. I think maybe some people have a little against Crosby, not just what fans and obviously people that enjoy hockey feel about Crosby, how he's a great player. But that's the Ted Lindsay is one of those awards that it's almost bigger than the MVP because it's voted by your peers.
That's a good point because you want to look good in like the NHL role to the other players because if you look good in their eyes, then clearly you have to be a really, really good player. And all three of these guys were excellent players this past year and throughout their entire careers.
Yeah, Crosby looked pissed.
Well, so is Mitch. That's actually why Mitch is not here. He's pissed off because you heard that the Penguins are going to lose Fleury. So he's just like all depressed and raging out, but it's fine. You know, he won a Stanley Cup, so you can't win them all, Mitch.
So I have what I think it's pretty certain that they're going to, from Nashville, they're going to take James Neal, which is a good player. You know, I guess he's 29 years old, $5 million, and he's an unrestricted free agent after this full season. So what I've heard with Neal is they'd probably keep him on their team, and maybe he'd be a trade deadline player if they're not in. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be in the hunt, but he might have more value in January than he would right now because being a kind of a rental player, he'll be an unrestricted free agent. So I think he's a guy that is not the long-term solution, but a guy that they need, someone that has that $5 million cap hit for their cap.
And Neal is a good player. I mean, you've seen his entire career. He played with Pittsburgh. He was like that main guy on the Malkin line when he played back there. Then he went to Nashville, was basically their main guy. Then they got players like Johansson and players to really help him out. And he did well in there. He excelled. He made the Stanley Cup final once again this year. So honestly, he is a very good player. I think it would be a very good choice. As you said, he'd be a great trade acquisition for another team if Vegas was not in the hunt. But the thing is, he's still young, as you said, you know, mid-20s. I mean, he's just hitting his prime now. So excellent pickup if they do pick up James Neal, in my opinion.
And then another guy on Dallas, it looks like they're going to be taking Cody Eakin, who I think has showed some promise. He's only 26. He has almost a $4 million, 3.85 cap hit, good all the way till 2020. I do like this pick, but obviously most of his points has come when he's played with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. But even though he played like 80 games last year, I think only had about 25 points. It wasn't a great year for Cody Eakin. In the past, we've kind of seen flashes because he's a good, hardworking player, and he's still young. So I guess a locker room guy, depth guy that you probably keep on your team. Obviously, he's been with Dallas most of his career, so it's going to be interesting that he seems like a guy they'll keep for at least the next 3-4 years.
Yeah, well, Dallas Eakin, in my opinion, has always been more of a defensive center than an offensive center. Yes, we've seen spurts of him doing really well offensively, but I really like him as being that penalty kill guy, that guy that you want to win that crucial face-off. You know, he's done very well in those kind of retrospects. These past few years, he's not had the best plus-minus and not done the best on the penalty kill, but you look at what's behind him, you have 0 defense and you have 0 goaltending. He can't really do it all, and if they can get a decent goaltender and some decent defensemen, I think he could do really well with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Or just the Knights. Let's just call them the Knights. I'm tired of calling them the Golden Knights.
Yeah, and I'm just being reminded that he was traded to the Dallas Stars. He only played 30 games in Washington. He was drafted by Washington, only played 30 games. He was really young when he got traded, but he actually got traded for Mike Ribeiro and a second-round pick to get Mike Ribeiro. So they obviously, at the time, Washington in 2012, we're always saying this, thought they had a chance to be good. They trade away a young star and a second-round pick to get Mike Ribeiro, I guess in the off season it would be. I guess almost this date 5 years ago, and then Eakins played the last six seasons with the Dallas Stars.
Very decent, very decent. We have some questions in the chat. Like, do you guys think that they will take Helm? Says Gamba Gaming 87. I honestly don't think that they'll take Helm from the Detroit Red Wings because you have players like Mrazek available, and I think Mrazek is clearly a better choice. He's younger. He's been proving himself in the NHL a little bit more. I was actually very surprised they didn't protect Mrazek, and they decided to protect Jimmy Howard instead. I think Mrazek is one of the best choices. If not him, there's a lot of other younger players that I would kind of look at better.
And actually, that's already been shown too. They're taking Thomas Nosek. He's a minor league player. He's 24 years old, so they're taking him. I think with the goalies, the way the goalies are going to shape up, that could be in a trade too, because this is just a list. I have a list of what people said they're going to have on their roster. But there's so many good goalies, but I think they go with Fleury and then they go with a younger guy. I don't think they'll go with 2 big name guys because I think that's what these teams want. They want Vegas to take these goalies. I'd be surprised if Vegas ends up with more than 3 goalies in this, when some people said they might take more than that. But it's interesting.
If you take more goaltenders than 3 or 4, I think 4 is the absolute maximum that you can do, then you're going to be sending one to like the ECHL. They're going to be losing trade value immediately as soon as you draft them onto your team. No one's going to want those goaltenders if you decide to draft them. So it's the kind of thing where I agree. You need to pick 3, maybe 4 guys if you really want, but 3 at least is the bare minimum that you have to do.
And it's going to be interesting because on this list they have Berube from the Islanders, who had a good couple. I don't know how they get him, because I heard the trade was they want Grabowski, but these could be leaked trades that are going to happen tomorrow as well. I just have a list where it's what's going to happen for the most part of what's been leaked of what their roster is. So going down, St. Louis, David Perron, kind of a journeyman. He's another guy with like 3.8 cap hit. And he's an unrestricted free agent, so who knows if he even stays. I think they just take him maybe just more for the cap. And Perron's a guy, he's not going to score you more than 20 goals, but he works hard. He's kind of a pest. He's everywhere he's gone, he's able to step up in games. It just depends if he can do it consistently. He is 29, but I don't think it's a bad pick when you're looking at who you could have taken from St. Louis. Because you still want those veterans that have been around. They might not be fine scorers, but they're definitely quality to have on any NHL roster.
No, for sure. Perron's always been like a middle 6 kind of guy, always between that second and third line, always working hard. Me personally, if I was picking from St. Louis Blues, I did this in my expansion draft. I went with the X Factor just because I really want to go with like something that would shock people and go with Nail Yakupov. I mean, first overall pick. I mean, not protected. I mean, yes, he's not been playing very well, but if you put him in like a city like Vegas where he'll go and party all the time, I mean, you have no idea. It's kind of just a toss away pick of, rolling the dice on a 23-year-old that might tune out and might not. So I think if they could go with Nail Yakupov, that's who I'd actually go with. But Perron, if that's who they're going to go with, that would be a good guy to go with, in my opinion.
And then for Philly, it looks like they're taking Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, left wing center. He's 32, 1.5 for the next 2 years. Now, this is just a depth play because he's kind of been up and down the last 2 years anyways, right? From the AHL. I know he's 32, or maybe he's been on the roster, but he's been a guy that doesn't dress every single night. But it's interesting why they end up taking him. I don't have like the pool in front of me what they could have taken. Do you know what else they could have maybe gotten from Philly? And that also smells to me like some sort of getting some compensation tomorrow for them to take him. But at the end of the day, too, 1.5 is not. So maybe they just did take him because they like him. Who knows?
Bellemare, I'll give him this. He's the #1 player that's currently in the league that was born in France. But that's only because he's the only player that's born in France other than DeCosca, the enforcer that plays in the AHL team of the Bennington Senators. So other than that, those are the only two French players, and Alexander Chiasson, of course. But Alexander Chiasson, he's a great forward. I thought that he'd go from Calgary, but Bellemare, he's definitely the best defenseman from France. He's okay. Personally, I'd go with a player more like Jordan Wheel, just because he's a little bit younger. He's a little bit more, consistent and being that bottom 6 guy. So I'd kind of look towards that. But Bellemare, he is starting to tune out to be a better defenseman. Every single year, it's a little bit more growth, but still not consistent enough, in my opinion.
And Parise Bergeron just won the Selke for best defensive forward in the league, which is always a good thing. He actually had a great year. Boston had a decent year, finishing 3rd in the division. Obviously, they had some big point getters in Pasternak and Marchand. And if I'm not mistaken, was Bergeron the center on that line?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so always a star player in this league as a defensive player, offensive defensive player. So good on him. And if I'm not mistaken, this is definitely has to be his 2nd or 3rd, no? He's definitely won this before.
Absolutely. This is not Bergeron's first. It's definitely at least the 2nd or 3rd, and it's always well-deserved. I mean, he is one of the top centers in the entire league. It's just that he gets overlooked because he doesn't put up the points like the Crosbys or the Malkins. He's always more of the defensive role, and he's the only center, from my knowledge, that was a #1 center that had 100% faceoff rating in one of the games that we reviewed last year.
Wow.
He had 25 out of 25 faceoffs during the Ottawa Senators in one of the last games of the regular season. And I remember thinking that, oh my goodness, Patrice Bergeron, what a complete player, because he can go up and down the ice like no one's business. He's a great player, always overlooked, as I said, not respected enough, well-deserved this trophy win.
Yeah, and just, again, I just Googled it again, just to make sure the Bellemare thing was indeed what people are saying. And yeah, who was it? It was Craig Kustins, I think TSN or SportsCenter, whatever. He says that is the pick, and I don't think for any compensation. So from Philly, it will probably be Bellemare there. Oh, first 9 picks are coming up. Colorado, Vancouver, Arizona, New Jersey, Buffalo, Detroit, Dallas, Florida,
and LA.
So these are actually, there's some guys that I actually don't have on this list. But for Florida, let's tease it right now. It's going to be Jonathan Marchand. Marchand. I got to get this pronunciation. I know you're not the guy to ask, but.
Absolutely. I'm definitely not the guy to ask. But as we said, or as you said, he was a great player. I mean, he was their second-line center all year. He had 26 goals, I believe. I mean, incredible. Only 26 years of age. I mean, you look at Florida, you understand why he was maybe not protected, because they have so many centers on that team with, Barkov and Bukestad and Huberdeau every once in a while. So it's the kind of thing where you get why they didn't protect another center. But this guy, I mean, he had a lot of trade value. He had a lot of value going into this fantasy draft. So I think if Vegas can pick him up, arguably, I think that this is automatically a top 6 guy for you. Whether he's your first or second line center, you got to play him up high, because he proved himself last year of being one of those top performers in the league.
And the thing with him is, too, 26, he's only getting paid $800,000 this season, and then he's an unrestricted free agent. So he has, maybe they think, too, we'll take him. If he does what he did, he's going to get a pay raise. If he doesn't, we'll probably still be able to keep him for cheap. He is only 26 because he's in for a pay raise, either re-signing a contract in the middle of the season or waiting all the way till July 1st of next year to sign him. But yeah, looking at on paper, he's definitely the closest thing. Well, with if they keep Neal for this season, right? That might be for right now. You have him with Neal maybe on the first line, and then put whoever else there. William Carrier, who actually I don't mind as a player. He's probably the youngest guy I think they can take without who's not protected. William Carrier making $700,000 restricted free agent last year, but it looks like he's going to be the pick for from the Buffalo Sabres.
Interesting pick. Brett Burns just won the Norris Trophy. Just a little quick thought on him. No one deserved this award more than him this year. I mean, yes, Karlsson played excellent during those playoffs, got his team to an Eastern Conference final, Game 7. He was arguably the best captain of that entire team, definitely led that team throughout the entire playoffs and did absolutely great. Yes, Drew Doughty, or Victor Hedman, rather, he had a great season too. Unsuccessfully did not make the playoffs due to Tampa Bay, just slipping underneath those standings. Sorry, our good friend, the Music Wizard in Austin. I'm sorry that your team did not make it in, but Brett Burns, 27 goals as a defenseman. We have not seen that since Mike Green did that back in 2009, I believe, for the Washington Capitals. And before that, it wasn't since the early 2000s. So honestly, Burns, I think he completely deserved this award. As I said, great personality and great leader for those San Jose Sharks and just for the entire league in general.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Burns to see, starting with Minnesota, and then when he came over to San Jose, switched to forward defenseman, same thing in Minnesota. But when he actually when they've decided that he's going to be the #1 defenseman, because he's been in the league quite some time, it's nice to see him just staying in his position and showing what he can do, because he's also not bad at all defensively, which helps, right? Plus with his offensive slap shot. And we've seen sometimes you just need to get the puck on the net, because being fans of the Vancouver Canucks, from the point, it never even hits the net or comes close to the net. So good things happen. Here's Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, speaking of the Canucks, they're the second team to pick. The first one, Calvin Pickard. Okay, this is a great pick in my opinion. A very young goaltender. I can't believe that Colorado left them unprotected. I thought that they would have Sergei Varlamov not protected. So Calvin Pickard, a great pickup. Played for Team Canada. I think it's a great pick all around. Great backup or AHL starter.
Yeah, and, if Fleury's the guy, that's what I was kind of saying, is you'll probably get another fringe starter. I don't think they'll get any other big name, in my opinion. I know a lot of guys said, they'll be taking a lot of goalies for just the value of them. But I think after Fleury, and then maybe I think they get Berube the next, further down the line, or it's reported that they're going to take Berube. So that's three solid goaltenders. So Lucas Pisa.
Hey, his name is Luca. He lives on the second floor. He's gone. He's out of here. Honestly, as a Canuck fan, I'm not too broken up by this. I know he was a big part in the Kessler trade way back when, but honestly, he was really doing nothing for us. I find that we have so many younger and better defensemen on our team that this pick really does not surprise me, and it really does not hurt me as a Canuck fan, because Lucas Pisa, he played okay. He never lived up to his expectation in my mind.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, too, the Canucks aren't worried about their cap room, but still, they signed him for how he was playing. I'm pretty sure he was making like $3 to $4 million, I think, in his new contract that the Canucks signed him to, which was, he never even got close to that value.
So Timo Pulkkinen picked up from the Arizona Coyotes. This was a waiver selection last year during the trade deadline. He was dropped to waivers. He's always been, kind of an AHL, NHL kind of guy. I believe he's only 24 years of age. No, he's just turned 25. So he's always been back and forth. He's okay. He used to play for Detroit. Honestly, this is just a little minor pickup. But then again, there was no one on really Arizona that you could pick up.
So what I will say with this pick is this seems like one where, we've seen it before. You're trying to give a guy some time to develop in the NHL. So he'll get big minutes in the NHL. John Merrill for New Jersey. So now we're starting to see how they're building this team. If we just look at the 4 picks that they've said just now, obviously Canucks, I don't know, it was going to be between Spiza and Brandon Gauntz, but they're going very young. They're not going for the best player that was available. They're going more for building a team for the future. And from what I've seen from John Merrill, he's still young. He's a lot of these guys have been guys that played in the AHL till they were 23, 24.
No, for sure. And John Merrill, he's a good defenseman. I'd say that he was one of the best defensemen for New Jersey the past 2 years. And honestly, as we said, he's young and he's a good player. William Carrier, as you said, their AC picked up the Buffalo Sabres.
I broke the news.
And that's why you're all going to miss AC when he has to leave here at 6:15 because, I mean, he knows more about hockey than I do. I don't even know how to say blame people's names. So
I still can't say people's names. But yeah, no, so look at it again, 22. So the oldest guy we've seen them pick so far. So now they're actually saying what they get. So they just got it. They Buffalo gave them a 6th-round pick to take Carrier.
And that's not bad. I mean, Carrier, as we said, he's a very young player, and that's not a bad player to have. I mean, I'd give him another year in the AHL before I'd put him in the NHL, but it's not bad. And Mitch Milani has just joined us.
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
We're just enjoying some expansion draft hockey there, Mitch.
I'm watching the awards right now. I didn't know the awards started so early.
Dude, I told you they started at 5.
How's it look now? Is it okay?
Yeah, it looks all right. I like the background light.
It's on my phone, so.
I know. It's all right, man. Still better than my camera, all right? So no worries.
Yeah, we're seeing them go so far. The first 5 picks, no one's over. I think Lucas Spiza is the oldest guy that they've taken. Everyone else is around 25, and William Carrier 22, which Buffalo gave Vegas a 6th overall pick to take Carrier.
Yeah, 6th-round pick, which is not bad to take, as you said, a 22-year-old guy, which, I mean, I still think he needs some time in the AHL, though. Give him some time to grow.
Well, look at Merrill is NHL ready, but still, I don't know if you can give him big minutes. Right now, on their roster right now, Spiza
is their best defenseman, which is really sad.
Did they just screw up somehow?
Probably did. They're like, we take Mike Modano with the Dallas Stars.
No,
pick.
so Cody Eakin is there, I think. Or no.
No, yeah, they already picked Cody Eakin. How can they pick another player?
Oh, because it was supposed to be Detroit.
How are they doing this? Are they just doing this in the middle of the awards?
Yeah, they do 9 picks at a time. Yeah, they have an order, and it was supposed to be Detroit.
So from the Detroit Red Wings, they take Cody Eakin.
But we have said that I think Detroit gave them a draft pick to take Thomas Nosek. That's going to be their pick for Detroit.
Cody Eakin, as we already said, he's a great player, great defensive center. It's a great pickup all around. I think we already gave our thoughts.
And he's a guy, too, that he has 4 more years on his deal. So he's a guy I don't think you trade away. You have him to be in that locker room for the next 4 years.
I don't mind the Eakin pick, but I also thought that McKenzie, the left winger, could have went for this team, too.
Sorry, who?
McKenzie. He had more points. He's younger, too, but I don't know. Cody Eakin's a good center, but it just depends who they have at center, because I don't know who they pick.
I just think Cody Eakin gives you a little more of a brand too in Vegas, the way he plays. He's not a lot of people know who he is, but the people that really follow hockey know what his talent could be. He didn't have the greatest year last year, but I think he's a guy that to build your team around somewhat, to be a 3rd to 2nd line center, depending on who he plays with. It's not a bad move. Plus, he makes $4 million, which I think they'll need that against the cap.
This one was the most obvious choice of any. I know I heard you guys trying to pronounce his name, Jonathan Marchessault.
Marchessault, yeah.
Yeah, Marchessault.
Yeah, he scored 50. It says 51 points in 75 games. So he's going to be the 1st or 2nd line center for Vegas right away. He's only 20. He's 26 years old. He's a little small, only 5'9".
The only thing I'll say with him is it's hard to predict when a player has their best year at 26, 27. And they get Riley Smith as well.
Dang, that's a good trade.
Yeah.
I actually really like that now.
Yeah, they get Riley Smith.
Did they play on the same line?
I think Riley Smith played on a different line, but I might be wrong about that.
All these highlights, they're not together.
I will say to counter your point about him being 26, I think the prime of players is more around 30 nowadays. So I think he still has a couple years to develop.
For sure. But when a guy comes out of nowhere, it's very odd. You see a guy when you've never even heard of them, they turn 26 and they score 30 goals. Because did anyone know who this guy was 2 years ago, 3 years ago when he was in the AHL and stuff? not many people. And look at his AHL numbers. They didn't jump out at you either, right?
He just worked hard. He worked hard to get his NHL position.
For sure. And I respect that. But I just don't think he's definitely going to get an opportunity to be the first-line center for the Vegas Knights, because I don't know what other centers you could get in this. And the way they're drafting now, it's all young players. But here McNabb is actually there for the – they got him from the LA Kings. He's going to Vegas.
That's pretty cool.
So I hear that the guys with wearing the jerseys are supposed to be like the focal point. So McNabb's going to probably be a top pair defenseman on that team, maybe top 4 defenseman, depending on if they keep all the defensemen they end up drafting, like Mathot.
I would have picked Gaborik, but I understand the McNabb pick.
I would have picked Andreov, but that's just me.
Well, I think a lot of people looked at, and it's easy to do, but looked at who you could take, and there's a lot of big, flashy names that are great, unbelievable players. But I think the Vegas Knights are looking more to build for the future rather than take all these old guys and maybe have a good first season.
I made a video. I don't know if you saw the video on it, Adam, but I tried to mix it so that I kind of had some talent now and some talent for the future, because you want to win too. You don't want to be absolutely terrible right away. But Braden McNabb, I just want to say this is taking nothing away from him. I'm just a big Gaborik fan, so I would have taken Gaborik. But McNabb is a solid player. We've seen him play before. He's been on this team for a while. He's been a solid contributor. He's a big guy. He's a pretty decent defenseman. I just would have taken Gaborik. That's just my personal opinion.
So there you go. We have the first 9 picks done for the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah. And the average age, 24, 25 in 9 picks. The oldest guy that they picked is Lucas Spiza, who's 26, 27. And the most, I think 3 or 4 of them were, Bellemare, I think, who they're going to have would be their oldest
Why
player.
did they pick him?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've got some compensation. We were talking about it earlier. It's all weird. There's never been I've never seen an expansion draft where there's so many, where the new team has so much power. It's bizarre. It's like, you guys stink. You started the league. You got to stink for a couple of years. You should be getting the trash of every team. You should just be able to pick all these guys.
What I don't understand is why are teams allowed to trade to protect players when they already have this in place where you can pick this many forwards, this many defensemen, this many goalies? When did this come out where they said, okay, you could trade first-round picks and keep your player? They should just have to pick one player from every team, and that's the way it should be. There should be no compensation. It makes it too complicated and ridiculous. That's my opinion. But to the Flyers pick, I think they should, if anybody, for a veteran presence, because that's what they're getting with Bellemare. I would have picked Dale Weiss.
Yeah.
Possibly. Weiss just had his worst season of his entire career, though.
I think he's 28, Dale Weiss is, and I think he's like a 4th line, grinder kind of guy, and you're not going to get, that's a guy that can get in a fight, and he can, kind of bring that toughness to your team, too, even if he's not scoring goals.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people in the chat right now, including the great Music Wizard, who says that I can't believe that you guys are streaming. You guys are unbelievable. I can't believe it. How do you guys feel about Calvin Pickard being the first goaltender on the roster for the Las Vegas Golden Knights? I really like this move. I think he was a very solid goaltender. I said this from the very beginning. I was very surprised that the Avalanche did not protect him and decided to protect Varlamov instead. So I think that this is a great move because Pickard, he is still that young goaltender that could be an AHL starter or be that backup. So either way, it's a good move in my opinion from the Knights.
Yeah, and how old's Fleury? 32? 30?
32.
32, yeah.
So he's 32. So, obviously we've seen goalies play late in their career. He's going to be the face of the franchise. We could have a whole nother topic to see if he could be a guy that can play, 65 to 70 games and be a star. And I think looking at the defense and the forwards that might be in front of him, it could be a short career, I think, for Fleury in Vegas. And I think hopefully they give Pickard a lot of time with Fleury there to give him a breather, because Pickard is a talented goaltender. And Pickard was somewhat successful playing with a team that's more like the Vegas Knights than the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously.
Yeah, I want to just mention before I go, I'm going to get a light and a charger or something to be more presentable here. But Pickard, I think he played really well. You guys watched the World Championships with Canada. He was really good there. And also, like Adam said, he put up pretty decent statistics with a team like Colorado. I think he's an up-and-coming goalie. He's still pretty young. To have that balance with him and Fleury, I think Fleury, not only is he a good goalie, but he's one of the, like, from all accounts, from all teammates, he's one of the best people in the NHL. So him to be the franchise, the face of the franchise, I think it's great for Vegas, and I'm cheering on Fleury, of course, as a Penguins fan. Watch this NHL commercial, and then I'll be back in a bit.
Yeah, they just all Maple Leafs so far. Oh wait, I'll see some Calgary. And they said that they're going to have you can have new franchises, so you actually can do expansion mode now and do the expansion draft in the game.
Well, that would be fun. I'd love to do that.
Look at. Let's see. Oh, built for creativity. Oh, through the legs, Sheary to Gunsall.
For those of you who are not watching this right now,
Ho-Sang just scored on Fleury.
Oh, that was beauty. They're showing a trailer to the new NHL 18 because EA always has a big part of the NHL franchise located in Vancouver, which is where all three of us are living right now. So, I mean, basically this is touching close to home because big video game coming out very close to home. All about NHL, which is what we're talking about. It's looking good. It's looking better than old NHLs, which is good. Every single year, it's a little bit of improvement. Graphics-wise, gameplay ability, I don't know. That's still up in the air, but
yeah, no, true. Oh, but the 3-on-3, finally, it looks like they brought the All-Star. I would love to do my fantasy mode. I mean, my franchise mode, and actually get to see play the All-Star game because they don't do that anymore, which always pisses me off. So let's see. You know, people are saying Marshall, why they didn't take him because they had to protect Barkov, Bukestad, Huberdeau, Trocheck instead. You know what I mean? These are guys that are younger and I think have a more promising career. And then they decided to protect 4 defensemen: Eric Ekblad, Keith Yandel was surprising, Mark Psick, and Alex Petrobuk, not surprising because they're young defensemen. So when you do 4 defensemen, you only can protect 4 forwards. That's the deal. So if you only protect 3 defensemen, you can protect more forwards. They didn't do that. They went 4-4 and obviously left Riley Smith, and that's why they took Jonathan there.
It's true. And I think Yandel, I think the only reason why they protected him was because he had a no trade clause. I might be wrong about that, but I think that's why they had to protect him.
True.
Yandel.
Yeah, that makes sense. Exactly. And yeah, it is Connor McDavid is the cover athlete of NHL 18.
But let's not be surprised. I mean, I was not very surprised about that. I actually really assumed that he probably would be because this is the McDavid era now. We are now in the McDavid era, so you got to give it to the young kid.
So as
it should have been Sid.
Mitch, it's never going to be Sid. He doesn't want it.
Yeah.
He has to join more All-Star games.
He's
first.
like LeVar Arrington. He's going to start like not even being in the games. I remember growing up playing Madden or Belichick. I remember growing up playing Madden, and LeVar Arrington, a great player, but he never wanted to be in Madden. So it would just be like linebacker 54 in Madden. He'd be like the only guy that had that. Okay, now even some more league stuff. Toronto, Brendan Liepsek, minor league player, 23, who's a restricted free agent this year. So that's who they're taking from Toronto. But I think with that, I see compensation involved for sure.
No, for sure. I think you have to get some compensation from that because he is a good AHL guy, but there's some better like talent that you could get for your main
so
team.
Toronto must, and I think there's some deals that I think Toronto's going to get one of these defensemen that they pick up pretty soon. I think there's going to be a flip tomorrow morning when the trades start. So there's that. New York Rangers, who they're getting from, who I don't mind, actually had a good season. Oscar Lindbergh, when you watch him play.
Really? That's actually really good.
Yeah, he's a center as well. He's 25. He's a restricted free agent this season, so they'll have to re-sign him or figure out some sort of contract this year, and who knows if he stays. But he looks like one of those guys. He's 25. He didn't look out of place last year with the Rangers. and he's a big body. So I don't mind that pick from the Vegas to get Lindbergh and another, quality center and another guy that's 25. And the guy before that,
There he is.
23.
The best guy in the NHL, according to Kevin Olenek.
The biggest leader.
On and off the ice, Giordano.
Yeah.
Let's not make fun of Kev, though, okay? Giordano, in all honesty, is the most, courageous, NHL player of all time. I mean, he saved a falling baby one time. Let's give him his dues, all right?
How's the lighting? Is it better?
Yeah.
It's looking good.
And then it is Eric Holla. It looks like they're going to be taking from Minnesota. He's 26 and he's a restricted free agent, which I think there was some sort of compensation with that as well.
Howla's a really good player, in my opinion. I think he's a solid, bottom six guy this past year with Minnesota. As you said, he's still very young at 26 years of age. I think that's a great pick from the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and I would not be surprised if there was no compensation involved. I think maybe Vegas just wanted to pick them up.
Yeah. And then let's go to the league defenseman so far. Mark Mathot is going to be going from Ottawa to.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's not that he played well in the playoffs specifically, but that's the oldest guy on the team.
It is, and the only thing I'll say about this is I think apparently Dorian has some issues with McPhee, because I think a lot of Senators fans are being like, why didn't you just give up some sort of compensation for them not to take him? Because we know he's been Karlsson's lifeline for the last 3-4 years. So Karlsson's going to have to learn to play with another player. And I think, but
he'll be fine. Karlsson will
no,
be fine.
he'll be
They'll
fine.
Just get another defensive defense.
But it wouldn't have cost them much to protect it.
No, Mathot has been for sure the best defensive defenseman that the Senators have had for a long time.
I think everybody's going to be asking, why didn't they pick Bobby Ryan? Do we know why they didn't pick Bobby Ryan?
I don't know why they did not pick Bobby Ryan, but I could kind of see why they didn't. I mean, yes, Mark Mathot,
Too much money, or
it might be too much money. He's also a little bit injury prone in the past of his career. He does get injured a lot, and when he does get injured, he's out for a long period of time. So that also might be deterring them. So both those things hand in hand. Also, you need a good team to carry Bobby Ryan. I mean, when you put good players with Bobby Ryan, he plays very well. When you put bad players with Bobby Ryan, he's not the best leader, in my opinion. I mean, you see where he went and played with Getzlaf and Perry, and he was doing outstanding. Then he went to the Senators. He played with Spezza and Alfredson, and he did pretty well. Then Turris, he was slowly starting to build up a relationship with. So it's the kind of thing where you need that really good player to help him along. He's not going to go out and score 30 goals all by himself. He needs that player to set him up.
And just getting back to the Holla pick, I think that was Minnesota gave Vegas compensation not to touch Dunba. I think there was there was another defenseman, and Eric Stahl they wanted to keep too.
Stahl,
yeah. So
Dalla.
So that was compensation that Vegas got back to take Holla. And that's
so
leading
how many
into
trades in total? 8?
Probably it's going to get up to 10 just in this draft. 10 out of 30 was probably traded. They got some sort of compensation, but it's small. To get Carrier, Buffalo only had to give up a 6th round pick for Vegas to take Carrier. So it depends.
But Buffalo really did not have anyone else to really pick, to be completely honest. They didn't have a
lot
big
of the guys were
stud.
young, plus they protected them. But another trade to take a player, the Vegas Knights will be taking Jason Garrison because Tampa Bay, I'm pretty sure this was large compensation because Tampa Bay wants Garrison's $4.6 million contract off the books. It's going to be see what it is. Maybe it's a second, maybe even a first because it's 4.6. But the thing with Garrison, he is an unrestricted free agent at the end of this upcoming season. So Vegas just takes him. You can maybe trade him at the deadline. He is good. No, for sure. Power play guy. It depends. It looks like their defense is going to shape up all right. I heard they're going to trade a couple of them, but that is plus, Jason Garrison.
If you're Vegas and you have all these young players, you want guys in there that are also veterans that can be in the locker room and treat these guys proper and get them ready to be leaders of this team for the future. So Garrison is going to be in there, and he might be a rental for 1 year, like Adam said, and he might leave later on in his career, like next year or whatever. But he's going to come in there the first year, and he's going to install some sort of leadership into some of these players, and treat them well, because he seems like a good guy and a good leader.
Yeah.
But also he's going to be in there and kind of showing them the ropes and showing them how to go about your business, especially in this new expansion team where it's going to be rough to start out. He's played in a couple situations where his team hasn't been very good, specifically at the beginning of his career, so he knows how that's going to work. And also, it's in Vegas. Think about all the young players and what they're going to be wanting to do in Vegas. You need some of the older guys to, hold it down in there in the locker room.
Yeah, because right now, if they do keep Mathot, the leaders would be like Bellemare at 32. It would be like David Perron at 29, Neil at 29, and then Mark Mathot at 32, Garrison at 32. And then going into another older player that they're going to get, actually, most of the defensemen that they've said that they're going to get so far, Alexei Emelin, I actually thought he was young, but he's actually 31.
Yeah, Emelin started his career very late in Montreal. Like, I thought he started in his mid-20s. He started at 27 was like his first year with Montreal. So
yeah, he's 31. I only know that because when I did the expansion draft myself, I was like, oh, Emelin, he's like 26, right?
Yeah.
And then I looked at it like he's like 31. But what he does provide the team is he provides a big body who can hit. And that's something that maybe Sabisa can give a little bit of that, but when you're a new team, you want some big guys that can hit and can be physical, because you're not the most talented team in the world.
And right now, they have their longest contract is Cody Eakin all the way to 2020. Most of the guys are going to be free agents next year, with Emelin, Garrison are going to be free agents. Neil's going to be a free agent. Perron's going to be a free agent, and also Jonathan Marchand, but obviously they'll re-sign him, I think, either this offseason or to the start of the season or during the next season.
Do we know who the free agents are next year?
No. Well, yeah, we know the guys that haven't been signed. You can check that, but I don't have the list in front of me.
No, I mean like for the rest of the league, because like if their strategy is, okay, we're gonna get a bunch of guys for 1 year, and then we might sign a couple, but we'll let the majority go. Then they must be counting on a couple of big names to be free agents next year, so that they can bring them in and sign them to big contracts.
Yeah, because there was a deal. Another older defenseman that is a $3 million player that's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the upcoming, not this season but next. Clayton Stoner, and this was Anaheim. Obviously, Anaheim had a lot of guys that they want to protect. I'm pretty sure they gave compensation. Plus, I think Theodore is heading to the Vegas Knights, similar to the Riley Smith trade with Florida. Anaheim gave them a pick. They said, take Clayton Stoner, and we'll give you Theodore when the trades open up tomorrow morning. So I think they're going to have Stoner and Theodore. I don't know if they keep Stoner, but I know obviously Theodore is going to be a piece for them in their future for sure.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I raved about him at least in the playoff recaps about how good the guy was. He's really young. How old is he? Like 23?
23 at most, I think. He's a very young defenseman.
Yeah, he's very young. He's not really like a flashy offensive defenseman, but he's going to be a really good defensive defenseman for years to come. So that if they do get him, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So that we'll find out pretty soon. I know the Stoner is for sure, but that's just what I heard was kind of the tag along thing. So they do get to keep Vatanen pretty much.
There he is, Deathstroke. Also Penguins fan.
Yeah, I heard was doing Deathstroke. So another one, San Jose Sharks, they're taking another 30-year-old, has 3 years left on his deal, David Schlemko. They'll be taking the Vegas Knights from, which that could be compensation as well. But I'm pretty sure they didn't have like roster to choose from, no? For the protected list? I'd have to check that.
Well, they had Bodker.
You had Bodker, you had
Yes,
Joe Ward.
which I was surprised.
And Dylan too, who I think
But-
are both best.
But I think they wanted, even though they have cap space, they wanted to stay away from Bodker's contract. I think if Bodker had like 1 year left, they'd take him. But I'm pretty sure Bodker signed like a 4 to 5 year contract recently.
He's like three years, like $4 million. Like I don't know. I think it's I think it would be worth it. I don't know. He had his worst year last year.
And if you need scoring, true. No, I would obviously you take Bodker over, but maybe.
Well, and then there was also Thornton and Marlowe, but they're free agents.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if that was some sort of money transpired hands, because most of these ones that have been leaked have been some sort of deals, like backdoor deals with picks. So obviously
it has to be.
Obviously, we have Braden McNabb. That was actually already said. Boston, Colin Miller. That is the pick from Boston. But what I'm hearing is Vegas has another deal to send Colin Miller to the Maple Leafs tomorrow.
Well, I mean, if they could do that, that's fine. But Colin Miller, in my opinion, he's not that all-star defenseman. He's not even like a good top 6 defenseman, in my opinion.
Oh, he's good.
He's okay. He's okay.
He's
He's nothing spectacular, though.
He was by far the best option for them to pick up in Boston, in my opinion. He's
For sure. But I think they
he's young. He's 24. He's a pretty decent two-way guy. He'll definitely be starting on their team. He'll be top 6 at least.
Yeah, no, Miller is great, but I think maybe he's your best trade asset if you're trying to get a guy that you weren't able to get. You know what I mean? Like maybe because that's what I'm hearing is they're gonna like Colin Miller's gonna be traded like tomorroall from Vegas to another team.
You know to who?
To the Maple Leafs, you said.
To the Leafs is what the rumor is.
Okay.
Because probably for picks or maybe a player.
Okay.
Haven't you been following Twitter, bro?
Not lately. I'm on my literally on the Hangout on my phone, so I can't turn the Hangout off.
Yeah, like so that is the big rumor there, because there was Maple Leafs are going to get one of these defensemen from Vegas no matter what, and it's been talk that it's going to be Miller, and Austin Matthews is the Rookie of the Year.
That's not that shocking when you come to think of it. I mean, it was a toss-up between him or Lane, and he scored 40 goals. So,
yeah, that was my pick to win it. I think he proved that he was the #1 overall pick. I think all the candidates were really good. As Fitty Trent made a video earlier in the year, is this the greatest draft class ever? Don't know about that, but it was a really good year for rookies, and it was very exciting to watch a guy like Austin Matthews also reach the playoffs with the Leafs, which nobody really expected. Wow, look at that stash on Lane.
I know. It's completely blonde. I mean, I remember I could grow a stash like that when I was like in grade 3.
Yeah, so that's that. And then Trevor Van Riemsdyk from Chicago. I hear that it's going to be a trade with Vegas that Vegas has to take Kruger as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll throw in TVR as well.
Yeah, and that's also that they don't pick up Billy Polka, which is an arguably like really good young Finnish defenseman. I think that if like they could take Billy Polka, I think that would be a great choice. But TVR and Marcus Kruger, that would be an excellent choice as well. So I don't think they're losing at all during these picks.
Yeah, I think those were both the guys that were pretty predictably going to be on the team, especially they wanted Van Riemsdyk, so they grabbed Kruger as well. The contract is a little bit much for Kruger, but he's going to help, and he's a veteran presence there that can play probably on the 3rd or 2nd line.
We got a pick here that wasn't leaked. Connor Brickley. So here's a guy 25, right? They're going so young. I don't know what they're going to be trash next year. At the beginning, we were thinking they're going to be good. They're going to be trash.
No, they're aiming for the #1 pick next year. That's what it looks like right now.
Yeah, I thought that they would. I thought that they would try and go with like a good balance, but I guess not. I guess they just want to get as many short-term contracts and as many young guys as possible. I guess I don't know.
Oh, but they also got a 5th-round draft pick. So there you go. I mean, that's not a very good player. Like Connor Brickley, he's always been like an AHL guy, but if you can get a draft pick as well, that actually looks out to be not too bad of a draft pick anymore.
And with the team that doesn't have a draft pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like every NHL team, they have 4 to 5 years of a draft pool. It's like they might take 25 guys in this draft or whatever, when everyone else is taking 7 to 8. Chris Thornburn, there's your leader. There's your fighter. There's the guy that's going to put guys in the seats in Vegas.
Okay,
34. Okay, what is their game plan?
This
was
it.
You just said that they're taking
No, but this was a trade because
34-year-old Chris Thornburn.
This was a trade because they didn't want them to take Tobias Instrom. So Winnipeg gave something up for them to take Thorburn.
What did they get? They better have gotten a lot. Like honestly, they didn't get anything. What? That makes no sense.
Let's see here.
They got nothing for Chris Thornburn. It's like Derek McKenzie being the captain of Florida made no goddamn sense last year. Oh, there you go. P.E. Belmar.
Played for Team Europe. Had 8 points last year.
Yeah, so Darren Drager said earlier today that Jets made a deal with the Knights to not take Toby Enstrom because you would think they would take Toby Enstrom.
There was somebody else.
Mark Dano.
Marco Dano?
That's it.
That's a huge one
Yeah.
there.
Why did they pick him?
And there was Tyler Myers as well.
There was Tyler Myers as well?
Guys?
Yeah.
Jason Garrison from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Music Wizard, I know you're in the chat. How do you feel about Jason Garrison being gone from your team? I think we've all,
player, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we've all given our thoughts about how he's underrated. He's a great player with a very hard shot.
So they got 3 guys in a row, 34, 32, 32.
But it's not like they're good players. Like they could have gone 31, 32 and got guys that are ready to play in the NHL that are studs.
Yeah, they could have got like Gabrick and Ryan and who was the other guy? James Neal.
They got Gusev 2nd and a 4th-round pick from Tampa Bay. That's a great move there.
That's a great deal. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely take that too if I was Tampa.
Oh, and Garrison is going to be the face of the team. He's got the jersey.
Garrison for captain. Garrison for captain.
He's from.
They stole the Canucks colors.
He's from White Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Islanders. I think I picked DeHaan. So who are they going to pick?
I think it's going to be Berube.
I also picked DeHaan. Or DeHaan. But
I got it right.
Yeah, they did pick Berube up, but they better have gotten some stuff back because
they got tons of stuff.
They could have gotten Strome. They could have gotten DeHaan.
So he's going to be mixing the AHL with Picard, but Picard you think has the leg up. Berube is going to be their AHL.
Picard's definitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, what else? See, look at they
Garbajovsky, Bishop, a 1st and a 2nd?
Yeah.
Holy, that's a great move. Never mind, Berube, captain for Team Las Vegas.
And Islanders gets like what? Grabowski was making like $5 million or something like that.
Yeah.
That must be a salary cap move right there. There's no reason for the Islanders to do that other than a salary cap move.
Like he also got injured last year, so it might be just a move to get him off the team because they don't think he might never get to play again. So we'll see. James, the real deal, Neil.
Let's see if he has a jersey, because if he doesn't.
Oh man, Thornburn is the face of the franchise apparently.
No, James Neal is the captain, bro.
Well, because he only has 1 more year left. I think he's going to be trade bait for the trade deadline next year.
possibly, but I think he's actually going to be. I think he's going to play multiple seasons for Vegas. That's going to be my bold prediction.
I could see him playing multiple seasons for Vegas. Being the face that never wins anything. AKA a future Canuck. All right, the Flames. Kevo, he can't be here to defend himself. He thinks it's going to be Derek Englund. I thought it was going to be Alexander Chasson. Let's see. They went with Derek Englund.
I think it got leaked.
They better have gotten something for Englund, in my opinion.
Yeah,
35 years
Yeah,
old.
he's 35 years old. This guy isn't getting any better. Basically what he is he's a 6D man. He's kind of a goon. I know this because he used to play for the Penguins.
But he did play with Las Vegas in the ECHL.
Yeah. They need some goons though, right? Like for that local Vegas fan base to cheer for. Like they're going to be fighting every night.
All that they need is Lapierre, Chris Neal, and Tommy Steel Sleeves Cecito.
Yeah, Matt Cook.
They better pick Steel Sleeves.
Dude, if they do, make him the captain. I'm not even joking.
First line.
First line captain material.
So what we should do, like, in the next couple of days is we should like project their lineup, their opening day lineup in a video.
Yeah. Wouldn't be that hard. Hey, John Tortorella's there.
Anything in the chat going on, guys?
Talking about Bellemare to the Flyers. Music Wizard says that it wasn't who he thought that they would have chosen from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He says definitely shocked. He would have picked either Point, Paquette, or Brown. I don't think Point could have gone. Paquette and Brown, I think, were involved in like the deal, like the secret deal that they made, saying like, oh, they won't be able to take them.
Well, they got a lot.
They did get a lot.
And if you think about it, for Tampa Bay somewhat wins, they give up that was a second round. That wasn't as bad as the Islanders. They gave him a second round pick. I'm not too sure about the prospect of who he is, but what you're doing too is Garrison's a $5 million player that you get in your cap. You know, did Stamkos sign his deal last year? Yeah, right.
Yeah, he signed the deal.
So, but I think their problem was they're going to have to pay a lot of guys coming up. I know Tyler Johnson is a restricted free agent this year. They're going to have to pay him.
Yeah, they have to pay him this year, Hedman next year.
Yeah. We went through all my leaked information already, which was like half the team, but it was all correct.
So we're all done with the leaked other than Fleury?
Yeah, I haven't checked. That was just when it started. There might be some.
We also have Mathot. I mean, Mathot, we don't know if it's confirmed yet or not.
Hey, how about this? Derek Englund is a Vegas resident.
Yeah, I was about to say, he played for Vegas in his minor league team. Like, his first, like, before he played in the NHL and the AHL, his, like, CHL team was with Vegas. It was the ECHL.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, and that's why everybody started cheering, because a bunch of people know him already.
So he's going to be the captain. Like, we already know that. He's now going to be the captain because everyone knows him. Vinny saying, who did they get from Boston? They have not gotten anyone yet, but it is expected that they'll get Colin Miller.
Expected.
Yeah. But we don't know if it's confirmed.
But every single thing I've said that was expected has come true. So I'm batting 100% off my sources.
That's why we're going to miss AC in like the next 3 minutes when he leaves.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm leaving in like half an hour.
Okay, chill. Okay, well, I'm going to take off. We'll be back for what? Are we going to do a Puck It Up this weekend after the draft?
We'll do another Puck It Up this weekend.
Saturday, maybe?
Probably.
Okay. Peace out. Go Vegas. New jerseys. New fan.
Such an ugly jersey.
They stole the
That's a
Canucks
great
colors. Like, where did the red come from? Please tell me where the red came from.
The blood of their victims.
Yeah, true. Maybe. Whatever. Stealing the Canucks. Now we never can go back to those old colors.
No. I don't think many Canuck fans wanted that either. I mean, I like those jerseys, but I'm like one of the rare few.
I like them. The puck ones.
You mean the skate?
No, yeah. Go back to the red, yellow. Red, yellow, black. Boom. Black, red, yellow. Black, red, yellow. Remember that song?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See you guys later.
Have a good one, AC. So there we go. We have over half of Las Vegas's team drafted and 2 bottom line viewers remaining. We had 2 to begin with, so I mean we got extra with Mitch here. He got over the flurry thing, and now he's joining us, but he will be leaving soon.
I will be.
And for those of you who are watching the Bottom Line View right now, I will have something big to announce. This week is the week of the live streams. Yes, that's right. You're not getting 1, you're not getting 2, but you're getting 3 back-to-back-to-back live streams. Not just this live stream, but we have another one coming out tomorrow for the NBA draft. That will be Mitch. That will be Dilly. That might be me even as well. The day after that, we have the NHL draft, which will be Mitch. It will be me, maybe AC, maybe Kev, maybe Dilly, maybe Jake, maybe Brandon Budgeon. That's a blast from the past.
After that?
The day after that's the NHL draft.
For real, bro?
For real, this Friday.
Well, I'm sorry, bro. I don't even know because my team won the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you're still hung over there.
Draft?
What's the draft? It's where you get that one player in like the 6th round that's expected to be like an AHL top 4 defenseman, and he ends up being like the next Bobby Orr. That's the draft for you. Meanwhile, for the Canucks, it's where we get a bunch of no-name guys. We just throw a dart at a dartboard and see if the shit sticks. That's all that we do.
And the NBA draft tomorrow, it's going to be interesting to see what my Los Angeles Lakers do at the number 2 slot tomorrow. They already traded for 2 picks. Will they trade for Paul George with those picks? What will happen? Also, 2nd overall, are they going to pick Lonzo Ball? And how will LeVar Ball react to it? There's a lot's going to go down tomorrow on the NBA live stream. Can't wait.
So definitely tune into that because, as I said, it's the week of the live streams. 3 live streams. I mean, I can't believe it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of great stuff happening.
And also, guys, I'd like to let you know, send us, how can we make them send this? Because actually, we're going to do a Q&A on Sunday. I don't know if Trent knows this. Myself and Dylan kind of made it up, but we're going to do a Q&A like on Google Hangouts, and you guys will be able to ask us whatever you want, whether it's NHL questions, just personal questions, whatever. Sunday, we're going to have a Q&A. I'm also going to make an announcement video for it, but you can post it on one of our previous videos. You can comment your Q&A questions on one of those videos, and we'll take them into the video on Sunday if you cannot make it. Or you can question us live there in the Google Hangouts.
Or, to plug even more, we got some social media as well. We, of course, have our Twitter page. Of course, we have a bit of a Facebook page as well. That's been actually doing very well recently. It's been blowing up every single, week or so. We're getting more and more views, more and more likes on it. So if you want to put it on our Facebook page or our Twitter page, give it to us there because we're constantly checking it because we constantly want to know what our fans are thinking of our videos and us. So comment down below. Go visit our social media pages. Follow us, tweet at us, comment towards us, because that's what we love.
Stranger Things is a good show. You should watch it.
There you go. Mitch's advice of the day, watch Stranger Things. Thank you, Mitch, for that great advice. So we got nominees for the General Manager of the Year award. Is the Pittsburgh Penguins GM in this or no?
I don't know, but he should be.
GM of the Year award, you got Peter Chiarelli, you got Pierre Dorian, and David Poley. So no, Jim Rutherford is not up there for GM of the Year. So obviously, Mitch does not care about this award whatsoever.
But honestly, Trent, I don't care about any of these awards because my team won the best one, so it doesn't really matter.
It's true there, Mitch. It's true. Oh, I'm sorry, David Poy. I'm just continuing on screwing up names. It's fine.
Nice pronunciation there, Trent.
Thanks, man. I went to broadcasting school, believe it or not. Graduated with honors. It's great. All right, the award for the GM of the year is Poyle, the guy that I mispronounced his name.
I guess Nashville deserves some award.
Yeah. Somewhat. So good for him.
The Subban, what did he do? The Subban trade?
Subban trade. That's basically it.
Does Johansson count?
I'd say it does. Let's give it to him. Let's give him 2 points.
Okay.
It should count more in my heart because the Johansson trade was my first video on the Bottom Line View. So in my heart, it should count more. But I mean, you're clapping there, Mitch. The rest of the people are like, "Damn it! Why did you let Trent join?"
Trent, did you know that? Did you tell the people about the Bottom Line View Awards that are coming soon?
I have not. That's a great tease there, Mitch. We are actually giving some Bottom Line View awards because, you know, we don't both boost our egos enough in this day and age of the internet. So we thought we'd boost our egos even more by giving each other the bottom line.
Also, there is an award for the best fan.
Uh-huh. No, I was getting to that. I mean, we're boosting our own egos,
Okay,
but we
keep going.
We also want to raise the joy and the hope of our fans because there's so many of you here day in, day out. I mean, at one point we had 50 or more people watching this live stream at one time. So day in and day out, you guys are the best community. You guys are the greatest people to talk to that we could ever ask for. So that's why we want to involve you guys in some awards as well by calling you guys some of the best fans. And we're going to be calling some of you guys even out as our best fans of the Bottom Line Views. So, I mean, look forward to that. We're going to have some categories that you can vote on. And I think we're going to be doing that sooner than later, like within the month or so. The Bottom Line View Awards. Stay tuned for that and see if you win an award or not. And maybe if you win an award, you might even get a prize. Who knows? They just gave a long accepting speech of like the GM of the Year award. Probably thanked his wife and his kids. As I said, we're not here for the awards. We're here for the goddamn expansion draft. So bring on those picks. Let's see Fleury come out in that Vegas-style jersey. Team Germany all the way. So now they're going to be talking about the Jack Adams Award trophy candidates. And once again, another trophy that, you know, Mitch will argue, Mike Sullivan, he should be in the list. I'd also argue that he should be in that list. Is he in the list? No, it's Mike Babcock, Todd McClellan, and John Tortellini.
I'm going to say that Tortorella takes the trophy here.
Ooh, that's an interesting call. I'm going to say Mike Babcock takes this trophy, only because he's gotten his team from the worst NHL team to being a playoff team that played pretty well against the Washington Capitals. So I think that he would be my candidate for the best coach. But Tortorella is also a great pick. Todd McClellan's also a good pick. But then again, he also has McDavid. So it's kind of hard to call him, you know, it's all him because you do have McJesus. You do have Draisaitl.
There he is.
Tortorella definitely has had like the hardest team to coach because you don't have that big superstar. Like Toronto has Austin Matthews. Edmonton has Connor McDavid. You know, they do have Zach Werenski, but Werenski, he had to work throughout college hockey for most of his younger career. This first year was his first year in the NHL. So he's kind of started with nothing and built his team up from there. He didn't have that franchise guy to go with. And Tortellini, he wins it. But then again, I mean, if he did not win this award, let's be honest, he would have killed everyone in the entire arena.
From the depths of the Canuck days to the highs of the Blue Jackets, he brought this Blue Jackets team to heights that were unexpected. This was the best Blue Jackets team ever. Think about that.
Yeah, it's true. Bring back Rick Nash. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Be an idiotic move.
Do it.
I honestly thought that Tortorella was going to be one of the worst coaches this year. I honestly thought that he was going to be the first one fired, to be completely honest with you.
So there you go. From that expectation to the playoffs.
To the Jack Adams Trophy.
Is his goalie also going to pick up the Vezina?
That's a bit of a difficult more question. That was not even English right there. Difficult more question. As I said, I can't even grammar over here. So, Bobrovsky, will he get the Vezina Trophy? No, I do not think that he will. I think it will go to Braden Holtby, a.k.a. Holt Beast. But Bobrovsky did have a great season, and he should have some recreation. Should have some credit that he was the best goaltender for Columbus this entire season. Best season that he's ever had. Getting better every single year. Still only 26. Great goalie, but I think it's going to be the Holt Beast himself, Braden Holtby still.
I think he is going to take it. I think what he did for that team along with Tortorella, those were the key pieces to the team. While Holtby, I think, had better players in front of him, higher expectations. The expectations is going to be a big thing for the voters. And Bobrovsky was that MVP for the team. So I'm going to go with Bobrovsky to win the award. But I think all the goalies were deserving. But I didn't think this was an overly fantastic year for goalies in general. I thought it was more about the players than the goalies this year.
For those of you who are wondering, Tortorella is still speaking. You have not missed anything towards the expansion draft. For those people who are asking, is Fleury gone yet? No, he is not gone yet. We're still waiting. He's probably going to be like the last pick of the draft because I think they're going from the worst team in the NHL last year to the best team. So that was, of course, the Colorado Avalanche got the first pick done and over with. So that probably means that Pittsburgh will get the last pick, meaning that, Fleury will probably be the last piece of the puzzle. He'll come out probably wearing the jersey, wearing the captaincy. Maybe this will be the first time that we see a captain being a goaltender since the Roberto Luongo era. If that's what Vegas wants to do, I'll give them a piece of advice. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. It never worked out. Don't do it.
All right, I'm gonna take off. Thanks, Trent, for having me on here. Thank you guys for putting up with me. I'll see you later. We'll see you at the Q&A this weekend. We'll see you at the NBA draft, the NHL draft. I'll try to make as well. I'll be there, and we'll have some fun on the live streams. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks a lot, Mitch, for coming in, helping out, and peace out there, Mitch. It's been awesome. So now, bottom line viewers, it is me, myself, and I hope, I know that this view counter is just going to plummet down to absolutely nothing because it's just me. You don't get AC. You don't get Mitch. You don't even get the great Kevol. You don't even get Dilly Vanilli and all his characters. You just have me. And we've had over half of Las Vegas's expansion draft done. This is the main meat of why we're doing this live stream today is because of the expansion draft. We have a half an hour left for the rest of the awards to be won. We still have the Vezina Trophy. I still think that we have the Hearts. We have the big awards coming up. And, we still have those last few picks for Vegas. Biggest players that have been picked up so far, definitely James the Real Deal Neal has been picked up. Derek Englund's returned to Las Vegas. Jason Garrison, he came out wearing a jersey as well. So we've had a lot of big players like that. But then again, we've also had a lot of little players. Connor Brickley has been picked up from the Carolina Hurricanes. You also had Calvin Pickard and JB Berube from the New York Islanders. Those are your two goaltenders so far. We still need another goaltender. Everyone's probably expecting Fleury. So, it's still going to be a great live stream. I hope you guys will keep on hanging around. Sports Factory asked me, do I think that Fleury will get picked? Yes, I do. I think it's already been leaked that Fleury will be being picked up during this expansion draft. Yes, there are better players out there like Rust and things like that. But Fleury, he's just won 2 back-to-back Stanley Cups. He also won a Stanley Cup back in 2009. So I think it would actually be an idiotic move to not pick up Marc-Andre Fleury right now. First overall pick back in 2003. So great pickup there if they do get Marc-Andre Fleury. So that's who I think that will get picked. I do think Fleury will get picked. For those of you wondering, from the Canucks, because I am a Canuck fan, Luca Sbisa. His name is Luca. He lives on the second floor. He has been picked up from those Las Vegas Golden Knights. That really did not hurt me at all. You know, Sbisa, he never lived up to the expectations. He was only expected to be a top 4 defenseman. He was basically only a top 6 defenseman throughout his entire career with the Vancouver Canucks. So Luca Sbisa, right now, he looks like he could be in the middle between top 4 and top 6 defensemen. So am I sad to see him go? Of course, I'm always sad to see Canucks go. But Canucks come, Canucks go. And honestly, Sbisa, I think, was probably the best decision for the Vegas Knights to pick up. And he was the best decision for me to see go. I'd rather see Gaunt. I'd rather see Dorsett and players like that stay with the Canucks. Does that idea sound like a good idea, Fitty Trent, for your Pocket Up podcast as Music Wizard? I think your idea was you guys should do, during one of your off-season Pocket Up podcast episodes, a season review of every team, determine if they make or miss the next team's playoffs next year. That will probably be a great idea there. You know, Austin, Music Wizard, will probably be doing that near like the end of the off season, near the preseason. So that is a great idea. I'm sure we'll be doing that. I'm sure that will be a long one. So for the true Pocket Up podcast and true NHL fans, I hope you guys get to join that. But you know, that will be much down the road. We have a lot to focus on. As I said, live stream this Friday, NHL draft. NBA draft tomorrow, another live stream. 3 live streams in a row. You guys better join because that's going to be awesome. It's going to be really cool to see you guys join. Chauncey says, what up, Fitty Trent? Just enjoying some good old hockey there, Chauncey. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you're enjoying it. Do you think the Golden Knights will make the playoffs or not even come close to the playoffs? Honestly, right now, they look like they're not even going to come close, in my opinion. They're Sports Factory. I mean, they had a lot of younger players, a lot of AHL guys so far. Nothing has really stood out in my mind saying this is the new key piece that will really push them over the edge to make the playoffs. Yes, James Neal, Kelvin Pickard, John Merrill, these guys are good, but they're not good enough, in my opinion, to push them into a playoff position. Also, they picked up a lot of really old guys. Jason Garrison's a good guy, but he's a little bit older. Derek Englund is 35. Chris Thornburg from the Winnipeg Jets, he's 34. So unless they do a lot of great pickups between now and then, I honestly don't see them even making it close. I thought originally that they would get probably a top 10 draft pick, but now it looks like being definitely a top 5 draft pick. Right now, they're handing out a bunch of catfish out for the fans of the NHL. You know, that was a running gag for the entire NHL playoffs, was the catfish being thrown out on the ice for Nashville. So they cooked it up. Now they're handing it out, and a bunch of ice, you know, ice for the catfish. That's nice. So excellent NHL awards so far. We've had a lot of big winners. You know, Connor McDavid, he has been released as the NHL athlete for 2018. So now we get the Hart Memorial Trophy, I believe. We have a little kid coming out and presenting it. I don't know who this little kid is. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm really not that caught up into, you know, celebrities and things like that. I'm caught up in sports. So this is, I believe, the Hart Memorial Trophy, which is for the MVP of the entire NHL season. And, you know, for the Hart Trophy candidates, if this is the Hart, we have Sergei Bobrovsky. As we said, he deserves to win at least something. He did very well, led his team, Columbus, into the playoffs this year and was the best player for them. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not the Hart Memorial Trophy. It is actually the Bill Masterton. So completely forget everything that I said. I am a rookie of the Bottom Line View. This is why, you know, we usually have other people with me, because if it was just me, no one would watch. So the Bill Masterton Award, I don't know who is actually up for this award. NHL.com with their awards, they are slow on the go for this, so I have no idea who's up for this. Actually, I do. From my knowledge, I think it's Craig Anderson, Cogliano, and Derek Ryan. In my opinion, it's got to be Craig Anderson. I mean, his wife just battled through cancer, a rare form of cancer. He came through, made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Final. I think you got to give it to Craig Anderson for just his heart and soul of the game of hockey. So Craig Anderson, for that, for you, I give you my Bill Masterton. Will he win it tonight? I think he's definitely the most deserving. Cogliano, he's a good player, very fast, very speedy, kind of been dropping off a little bit with the Anaheim Ducks recently because a lot of the younger players have been taking on the role. Derek Ryan, I mean, honestly, this is the most undeserving candidate in my opinion. Not because he's not a good guy. It's just he's not a very good player in my opinion. He's not stood out fantastically for those Carolina Hurricanes. So in my opinion, I think it's got to be Craig Anderson. But we'll see as they're giving the nominations now between everyone. My phone is blowing up with the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, we're soon going to get to see a few more picks. Comment down below, who do you think is going to get picked up from teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Chicago Blackhawks? I mean, AC, he was out here giving us some hot takes, and he was right every single time. Maybe he should have been doing the expansion draft lottery, but, I mean, we'll be seeing. The Bill Masterton Trophy has been given to Craig Anderson, the guy who I thought deserves it. Great guy, kissing, hugging his wife. Look at him. He's so happy, so emotional. Craig Anderson, I honestly believe that this is his second to last season, if not his last season in the NHL. As I said, his wife is having some health problems. That's the kind of thing where he's 34, 35 years of age. He's not getting any better. He's not getting any younger. So Craig Anderson, I think this is going to be one of his last few years in the NHL. And it's a nice way to go out. You made the Eastern Conference Final. I don't think that you're going to be able to make the Eastern Conference Final again next year. Never mind the Stanley Cup Final. So Craig Anderson, I believe he will be retiring sooner rather than later. Looking at the chat right now, actually, we have really no one. We had Chauncey saying, Brother New Year, I knew you'd come. Thank you very much, Chauncey. That means a lot. It's always great to see you joining in and talking to us. You know, Music Wizard asking us, once again, either barely make it or miss it. You know, they will be barely making it or missing it. There's no way that they'll be a top team this year. As we said, they don't have good enough players, in my opinion. So, yeah. After this award, we might get to see some more of the expansion draft. Craig Anderson's right now just talking about some things about his team and whatnot. So, enjoying the NHL Awards. So far, there's not been any big surprises. You know, nothing that knocked me out that said, oh my goodness, like this player won, where I really thought that this player won. Maybe the first one where Connor McDavid won over Sidney Crosby is being the NHL favorite by the fans and by the players. You know, his wife is crying right now, Craig Anderson, if you're not watching this. It's a very emotional speech. Very nice. I wish you guys could be watching it, and I hope you guys are watching it. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because if you do enjoy these live streams, be sure to like, be sure to comment, because we're always reading those comments. As we said, we got the Bottom Line View Awards. They're coming out soon for the top bands and the top, you know, videos that we have made and top personalities that we have on the Bottom Line View. But as I said, we're going to be having some fan videos as well, or fan tributes as well for you guys. So if you guys really like us, be sure to comment down below. Be sure to comment also on our social media and our videos about a Q&A that we have coming out on Sunday. I don't know if I'll get to be a part of that because I do work Sundays, but that will definitely be Dilly. That will definitely be Mitch. And it'll be a Q&A about what you guys want to see in this channel from now on. Maybe some questions for us about what we're thinking about the future, or what our likes and dislikes are. And be sure to, you know, tune into the Bottom Line View, not just today, because today's the start of a 3-day marathon of live streams. We got the expansion draft tonight, then we got the NBA draft tomorrow, and of course, we got the NHL draft on Friday. So be sure to tune in there. And now we're going to get to see some more Las Vegas Golden Knights. So sit tight, because it's going to get interesting and it's going to get a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it here. They're just starting to announce it now. They're looking over, you know, they're going to pick it out sooner rather than later. So they have picked a forward now from the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is Brendan Lepsick. This is a guy that AC thought was going to get picked up. He's been kind of between the AHL and NHL for the past little while for his entire career. So Brendan Lepsick, you know, I think that this is probably an okay pick. He is only 23 years of age, so he's still very, very young. And it's a good pickup because he's so young. And honestly, I think that they might have gotten some compensation back for him. But then again, maybe they didn't. And by the looks of it, they actually did not get any compensation back. Lepsick just straight out to the Vegas Knights. Now from the Boston Bruins, they're thinking that it's going to be Colin Miller, the defenseman. So we'll be seeing if it will be indeed Colin Miller. And it was indeed Colin Miller, 24 years of age, one of their youngest defensemen in Boston. Boston actually has no really young defenseman other than Colin Miller now, or at least they didn't have anyone until Colin Miller just got picked up. So it's the kind of thing where Colin Miller, yeah, that was a great pick for the Boston Bruins, you know, from the Boston Bruins, I should say. I still think that Malcolm Subban would have been a good pick, but Colin Miller, he's gone. So Colin Miller, welcome to the Golden Knights. Now it's time for the Ottawa Senators. Now, Many words have been saying that it's going to be Mark Mathot, the great defensive defenseman. I thought it was originally going to be Bobby Ryan, but indeed, they picked up Mark Mathot, the great defensive defenseman. Missed half his finger after a slash happened, with Sidney Crosby. But Mark Mathot, he is a great defenseman, a great pickup. He is a little bit older, but it's the kind of thing where he is that kind of leader that you'll want on your team. I think he will be a top 2 defenseman for your team. He just celebrated his 32nd birthday this year, or today, I should say this year. What the hell am I talking about? Of course, he celebrated his 32nd birthday this year, but he got selected, a great defensive defenseman, as I said. Good pick all around for the Ottawa Senators. Up next, you got the San Jose Sharks, and they're expected to pick a very, older defenseman, David Schlemko. They did pick up David Schlemko. That very much surprised me. I thought that they would go with more of a Joel Ward. Originally, I thought that they went with Mirko Mueller, but of course, Mirko Mueller got traded to the Devils. So then I thought maybe, okay, Bodker or Ward, but nope, they're going with David Schlemko. So they're picking up a lot of defensemen here. And David Schlemko, he's going to be a good top 6 guy, but I think that there might have been some better players for the San Jose Sharks. And surprisingly, the Sharks got no compensation. They didn't have to give up anything. Now it's time for the St. Louis Blues, and it's believed that David Perron will be picked up from the St. Louis Blues. And indeed, they are correct. David Perron gets picked up from the St. Louis Blues. As AC and I have said, always been a good middle 6 kind of guy. Usually been playing on the second, if not third line. I think the only time that he's ever really played third line was with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But David Perron, he's a good player, 29 years of age. He did have 18 goals, 28 points last year. And, he's a good, solid, all-around player. So I think it would be a good pickup for them. And I look forward to seeing what David Perron does for them this upcoming year. Now we got the New York Rangers. They think it's going to be Oscar Lindberg going to the Rangers. And, of course, it is Oscar Lindberg. Oscar Lindberg, honestly, he's one of the most underrated players I think that they got to pick up in this draft. I believe he's only 24 years of age. Mostly played on the 4th line last year, but basically with a heart and soul, that 4th line. So, very good player. He's actually 25 years of age. Sorry, not 24. Had 21 goals and 27 assists, 48 points in 134 games. He's always been basically a 4th line guy, but he's nice and young and a very hardworking player, and I think a very good pickup for the New York Rangers, or from the New York Rangers, I should say. Now it's time for the Edmonton Oilers. I thought that they would get Chris Russell here. Chris Russell's apparently looking for a $5 to $6 million contract, but they go with even a younger defenseman with Griffin Reinhart, 23 years of age. Never really worked out for the New York Islanders. Never really worked out for the Edmonton Oilers either, to be completely honest. And honestly, that's a great pickup in my opinion. As I said, he's 23 years of age. He's projected to be a top 2, maybe even a top 4 defenseman. So honestly, this guy, he's a great pickup in my opinion. One of the best ones that you could have, and he's still on contract with a year or 2 left. And after that, he will be a restricted free agent. Now it's time for the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens, I believe AC did say who they were going to get. Alexei Emelin is the pick, 31 years of age. I'm very surprised by this, but not also very surprised. He is a more physical defenseman, top 4 defenseman. He is 31 years of age, though. That is a bad thing with the Las Vegas Golden Knights, in my opinion. But then again, you need to have a little bit of an older presence. So, Emelin, he will be that older presence, and he will be that physical presence on the team. So, overall, okay pick for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, in my opinion. Maybe they could have gotten someone better, but overall, not bad. I believe we have 6 more picks remaining for this expansion draft. I don't know if they're going to be doing any more. Anaheim's the next one up, but they are, by the looks of it, picking up the next player from the Anaheim Ducks. I forget who I said. I think I said Sammy Vatanen was going to be picked up. I think AC said that it was confirmed that Clayton Stoner was going to be picked up. And if they did, then they'd get Shea Theodore, which would be an excellent pickup, because if they did get Shea Theodore, he's a very nice young defenseman, which would help out their team tremendously, since they don't have very many young, already NHL proven defensemen, other than like maybe John Merrill, Braden McNabb, players like that. Other than that, everyone else has been pretty old or pretty much just an AHL guy. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this live stream so far. This is what the team has been looking out so far. They still need to pick up at least one more goaltender. The Pittsburgh Penguins have not gone yet. Everyone thinks it's going to be, that Marc-Andre Fleury. But then again, you do have Jonathan Bernier on the board. You do have players like that. So keep on sticking around because we're still here for a good old 20 minutes or more, to watch the expansion draft unfold and to watch the NHL Awards. And speaking of awards, if you guys are just tuning in now, we do have the Bottom Line View Awards coming up within the next month or so, where you, the Bottom Line viewers, will get awards, as well as us, as Bottom Line View creators, will be getting awards. So Sports Factory says, do you think that the Golden Knights will become a top team in the future? Of course, they will eventually become a very good team of the future. It will take a long time, though, in my opinion. Most of these guys have been basically AHL top sixes or AHL bottom sixes for most of their career, if not retirements within the next 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, I think that the Golden Knights, they can get better, but they need to draft some very good players right now. And the draft picks that they're getting, they can maybe get a nice package deal going with some teams and maybe pick up some good players. This might be off topic, but do you think the Penguins will win the cup again? Sports Factory, this is not off topic at all. We're talking about hockey. We're talking about awards. And what bigger award is there than the Stanley Cup? Do I think that the Penguins will be able to three-peat? That's a very difficult question to answer because the Penguins, it's hard to win back-to-back Stanley Cups in this kind of salary cap era. Never mind win 3 Stanley Cups in a row. So if they do win 3 Stanley Cups in a row, I mean, honestly, they are the best dynasty. Will they? I don't think that they will. I think that there'll be some better teams. Yes, Matt Murray will be able to stand on his head once again. But Tristan Jarry, I mean, he's still just kind of that AHL starter. Maybe he's ready to take up the backup role. Maybe he'll one day become a starter. But in my opinion, Tristan Jarry is no Marc-Andre Fleury. So in my opinion, Tristan Jarry, he'll be okay, but he won't be a stud enough to be able to win the Pittsburgh Penguins their next Stanley Cup. And I also think that they might be losing someone in free agency this year. I know that Dumoulin and Schultz might take pay cuts just to come back to the Pittsburgh Penguins. But it's the kind of thing where after that, you're going to have a lot of players that are going to want some money. You're going to want Sheary with money. Gensel's going to want money. A lot more players are going to be asking for a lot more things. So it's going to be the kind of thing where, this year, it's going to be difficult. I think you might be able to make the Stanley Cup final again. If not, the Eastern Conference final for sure. But I don't think that you'll be able to win the Stanley Cup again once again. So there we have it. 15 minutes left of these NHL awards. We still have the big trophies to hand out. We still have the Hart MVP trophy to hand out. We still got the Vezina trophy to hand out. Besides that, I think we have the Lady Byng. And I think that's the last big trophy to hand out. For those of you who don't know who won the award so far, you got the Clint Clancy Memorial and Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award, both going to Nick Foligno. NHL Foundation Player Award went to Travis Hamonic. Art Ross went to Connor McDavid, of course. Maurice Rocket Richard, Sidney Crosby, William N. Jennings went to Braden Holtby. Then we had the Ted Lindsay Award that went to Connor McDavid. That was the biggest shock of the night so far. Norris Trophy went to, of course, Brett Burns. I know a few people are upset that Carlson did not win it, but you have to remember that these trophy candidates were all pretty much known before the playoffs even started. Like by the end of the regular season, they had their idea of who was going to win these trophies. So, Brett Burns, with the great, incredible season that he had, you had to kind of give it to him. I will agree that Erik Karlsson had the best regular season plus playoffs, but Brett Burns, just regular season, I think blew him out of the water. Calder Trophy winner was, of course, Austin Matthews. Selke Trophy winner was Patrice Bergeron. Well-deserved. As I said, the only center that I could think of that was the number one center that had 100% face-off rating for an entire game. 25 for 25 during the Ottawa Senators game. Incredible player. Lady Byng, we're still waiting on that. Jack Adams Award went to John Tortorella, a guy who really had nothing to work with other than just a young bunch of grinders. Built them up to be better and built them up to be that NHL team. Bill Masterton Trophy went to Craig Anderson for his dedication to hockey. And General Manager Award went to David Poile, a.k.a. the Nashville Predators Trophy, the GM. Now, we are breaking down some numbers. Right now, they're breaking down Braden Holtby's record. League average of 227 games played. Goals against at home is 68. Goals against on the road is 114th. Presenting the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy. We know this, the top goal scorer. That is, of course, going to be Sid the Kid Crosby. They're not even going to be showing it, really. They don't really even get a speech. But Sidney Crosby, 44 goals. You know, Mitch said at the beginning of the season that he would get 45 goals. I said I'd be surprised if he reached 40. So honestly, congratulations, Sid the Kid Crosby. 44 goals, 18 wrist shots, 5 backhands, 10 snapshots, 2 slap shots, 1 deflection. All these, oh my goodness. Art Ross Trophy leading point winner. That is, of course, Connor McDavid, who, if you did not get to see and you are interested in, Connor McDavid did win the cover vote for the NHL 2018, NHL video game. So congratulations to him. Only player to score 100 or more points this entire year. So good for McDavid. 4th in total of, I could not read that stance for a second. Anyway, we got a lot of even strength points for McDavid this entire year. And Braden Holtby, of course, with the William M. Jennings. Honestly, these entire awards so far, they've been good. They've been entertaining. But of course, we're not here for the awards mostly. We're mostly here for the expansion draft. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this. And I hope you guys, are enjoying to see who wins these trophies, because I have been enjoying it for sure. So now back to the host. I forget who's hosting it. Once again, I'm not good with my social media. I'm not good with my media today. But we're back to the NHL Awards. Speaking of awards, once again, we got the BottomLineView Awards. And of course, this is the week of the live streams. 3 live streams happening all this week. We got, of course, the NHL Awards right here, right now. We got the NBA Draft tomorrow. And of course, we got the NHL Draft the next day. So I hope you guys will be able to tune in for those, because you guys have been awesome sticking around, giving me your thoughts on these awards so far. Right now, my computer has basically frozen on the chat, and it's overheating if you cannot hear it. So I cannot see the chat right now, but I'm going to try to pull it up on my phone. And of course, we got some mascots. Of course, we got some flair. Like we always get to every single award show. You're not just going to get a bread and butter. Your next award is blah, blah, blah. They got to throw in a little bit of flair, and you got to like it. You got ice